Hey, welcome to my recording for Own Your Career. If you're not in control, who is? And the reason why I am doing this recording separate is because Zoom is fun, guys and gals. It is always interesting, and I always tell folks when it comes down to it, it is nothing better than making sure we do a clean recording after the fact. It may seem like double work, but ultimately, at least you will get the true experience, and you'll make sure to really take back everything you needed to if you didn't get a chance to make it. And because during my presentations and talks, I like to answer questions as we go. And so it kind of seems kind of scatterbrained. So we want to make sure that ultimately you get exactly what you need in addition to the presentation. So if you're here, thank you so much for signing up for this part one of the series. My name is Kay Allen Brownlee, and it is a true pleasure to be with you. We had so much fun on the live recording, but ultimately, I wanted to make sure that we still did a couple things and you saw exactly what you needed to do. And the fact that you do need to stop waiting for somebody else to define your next career move, because if you are, you've already lost control. All right. So let's move on to the next slide. Let's talk about our agenda. So first, I'm going to go over who I am and my company, Career Snobs. I'm going to make sure I do an introduction about if you're not in control, who is. And then also, I want you to spot the moments that you've handed over control. I want you to have some actionable steps that deliver big results. And I want you to know the secret to setting goals you will stick to. All right. We'll also have a conclusion. We had a Q&A and virtual networking live that is only live, but there were some pretty cool questions. And if you do have questions, you could always reach out to me after the fact so we can discuss in more detail. All right, so a little bit about me. My name is Kay Allen Brownlee. I am a Fortune 20 talent exec who turned career advocate. I love doing what I do. I think I have been very successful in my career. And I think once you've had a certain level of success, you do want to make sure that you spread the love. You start doing legacy work. You start making sure that you can help people and that they can help themselves and help other people. And so the whole point of what I do now is making sure that you own your career and that you make it yours. And I do want to make sure that career training is accessible and affordable for all. This is a form of being accessible and affordable because it's free, and it's accessible because it's truly everybody. I mean, we had folks from the UK, we had folks from India, we had folks from all over the world, United States here on the call, and it was fantastic. And so I want to make sure that you're not limited by where you are, where you're born, where you come from, what resources you have, what assets you have. It doesn't matter. If you want to grow in your career, you should be able to do it. So back to me, right? So I've been in the industry for about 15 plus years. I've been hiring talent for a long time. And I do, with Career Snobs, actually help companies and organizations help with their employees and leadership training and all that good stuff. I've hired over 20,000 folks in my career. I know it sounds crazy, but I did a lot of class-based hiring and all that good stuff. And it's truly allowed me to build programs and help people in ways that I never thought I would be able to do in a lifetime. And so this is my way of being able to do that. And Career Stops, that's what we're here for now. We want you to feel ownership of your career. We want you to make it yours. And we don't want limits. We don't want you to feel like if you can't afford $1,000 program that you can't get good training, right? And so that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm doing. So this series, it's 7, I believe, right? I should know that, right? It's 7, and I'm going to take you just through different scenarios when it comes to owning your career and making it yours. And I just wanted you to know, I'm no gatekeeping, no fluff, no nothing. I'm very relaxed right now. I actually just got off of the live version, but I decided to do this now because I'm so pumped up. And I didn't want you to not see the momentum and feel the love that I'm feeling for all those that were able to turn out. So let's move on. So the first quote that I went over during the call was taking control of your career isn't a choice, it's a necessity. Yes, it's a necessity. You want to make sure that you're creating bold moves within your scope and that it's creating bold futures. It may sound like kind of cliche, but ultimately, if you're not willing to do unique things, to step out of your comfort zone, to realize you don't like the zone you're in, period, you're not going to go anywhere, right? And so you want to make sure that it's not necessarily a choice. It truly is a necessity that you take control of your career. So, with that being said, I want you to let that sink in for a minute. Like, I had asked the question, are you really in control? Like, are you really in control of your career? And several people were like, no, so, half-half, right? That's why you're here. That's why most folks came and signed up, because when you are in control of your career, it's not necessarily that you're making a lot of money or that you're in a perfect position or that you're in a perfect spot to be promoted. It's about who's driving the car. It's about who's literally in charge. And in this case, if you're not, then that's something you need to think about. It's something you need to plan about. And a lot of times we hand over control without even realizing it. We're waiting for somebody else to notice our hard work, to give us a pat on the back, to congratulate us for something. And if you are, that's not control, because a lot of your happiness and your joy is going to come from getting that validation. And honestly, you don't need that, because if you have a true path to success, or a true path, not necessarily to success, but what you want to do, that's control. But if you don't know where you're going next and that it takes somebody else to tell you you're great in order to get there, then there's some control lacking, and there's something we need to talk about. All right. So I also want to make sure that we're flipping the script on all of it. Like, it's, if you're not there yet, it's okay. You don't have to be. But I do want to make sure that you realize when you've given away the control, take it back, and then step boldly into the driver's seat of your career. Okay? So because if you're truly not leading your journey, somebody else will. And I always say this: if you are not writing the narrative, somebody else is. And you never want somebody else to write the narrative, because they're always going to get it wrong. Okay? So let's go over the first point. First point is spot the moments where you've handed over control. 3 points. You're waiting for permission all the time, fear of rejection, and accepting the default path. 3 huge things. First, waiting for permission. It goes back to what I was just saying. You're waiting for people to recognize your efforts, to get those ribbons of life, to collect those ribbons that show that you're great and you're awesome. But in fact, you're not on your own path. You're following somebody else's. You are checking the boxes of validation in order to feel like you're doing what you were set out to do, but you weren't necessarily designed to do, or that even something that you even wanted. Sometimes people are talked into positions they don't even care for. Think about that. So in this case, start thinking about who you've handed your control with. Your growth begins when you stop seeking external validation and start claiming the opportunities that are in front of you. You don't need permission to move forward. You don't need permission to get a promotion. I know it sounds weird, but a lot of times you can promote yourself by going to a new company. You can promote yourself by learning a new skill set. Promotion isn't always just because somebody wrote down and said that you were promoted. Sometimes being promoted is like a self-revelation of being able to grow whether spiritually or physically or mentally. Promotion isn't just a job. So just keep that in mind. And then also fear of rejection. Often, we've all been there. Fear, it is the worst. It is the enemy of us all. It is the thing, and a lot of times there's no reason to be fearful of rejection. I was stating in the call that when it comes to building muscles, any of us that have ever like went out and lifted weights or tried to get in shape of um, some kind of way, it's like that first day after you do it, it hurts. Your muscles are sore. You're like, I don't want to do that tomorrow. But ultimately, your muscles are getting stronger. They got to tear, they got to rip before they get stronger, because they rebuild. And that's sometimes what we have to go through. Rejection is like that. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it doesn't feel good. But ultimately, rejection is what we need in order to get closer to the yes that we're striving for. So just keep that in mind. Yes, it does get hard. But ultimately, that yes, that one yes is all we're looking for. And sometimes it takes shorter amount of time, sometimes it takes a longer amount of time to get to it. So just keep that in mind. And then third, accepting the default path. This is a huge piece. The default path is, hey, I have a leader. I love my leader. They're the best. And when they get promoted, I'm getting promoted. That is a default path. That is not your path. What if you want to do something else? Why is you getting promoted contingent upon somebody else being promoted or somebody else getting demoted or whatever it may be? You should know exactly what you want to do. I talked about career mapping a lot during the talk because I do have a career map. I'm going to make sure I send this over with the link. But you got to start really going through what you want to do, because you'll always be handed second best. You'll always be, hey, I got promoted, so now it's time for you. No, I want to be promoted. I'm going to do what I need to do and change things, and because that's what I want to do. Right. So you have to start making sure you stop accepting the default path. That goes with doing what your parents told you should do, doing what your family think that you should do, making a certain amount because you feel like that's what you like. It's so many things, so many default paths we've all been handed, and we do need to all take control and make sure that we move on. Second, all right, so simple, actionable shifts that deliver big results. We got to start speaking up, folks. We have to start speaking up for the ideas, the volunteering projects. We have to start advocating for ourselves, and we also have to start taking control. Okay. And what that means is when you speak up, when you truly speak up for yourself, you can tell people what you want. People are not mind readers. A lot of times we get upset because of our boss didn't promote us, or things didn't happen, or we didn't get that accolade, and it's like, but I didn't even know you wanted that because you never spoke up. So keep that in mind. Small actions show others you're ready to lead and make impact. You don't have to make these huge, gigantic leaps in order to do that. You could truly do that by taking small steps. Second, redefine your brand. Okay, this is huge. If you're not on LinkedIn, if you're not doing your resume every 6 months, it, that's one thing, right? You got to redefine, because you got to know who you are. If somebody came to you with your dream job tomorrow, are you ready for it? Are you ready? Or do you have the resume to send in 30 minutes? Do you have the LinkedIn piece to really be able to push it over if they went and looked at your profile beforehand? Do you have those things? If you don't, it's time to think twice. So make sure that you are defining your brand. Nobody else should be saying who you are, what you do, and what you stand for. That's your job. And that's what redefining your brand is all about. I also want you to take one bold step, just one, to get outside of your comfort zone. Just one. That may be reaching out to that person to connect. That may be getting a resume. That may be like whatever it is, it might be that. So keep that in mind. Whether it's networking or asking for the dream role, or it's all one step. Like it literally, it creates that ripple effect. And as I was telling folks before, when it came to your brand and your network, it is important on who you network with. Potential is not gained alone. It is gained through community. And so we need to get out of that mindset of thinking we have to do all of this alone. That one bold step may be reaching out to get a mentor. It may be watching this. Who knows? But ultimately, take that step. And third, the secret to setting up bold goals you'll actually stick to. You got to be specific. This seems vague. Yes, I know. But goals need to be clear and measurable. So instead of saying, and I have this on here, I want to advance, to the next role. I want to advance and be a leader of people within the next 6 months to a year. I want to do this by getting education, by getting some mentor, by doing some shadow projects, by leading without having a title. Whatever it is, it's being specific. I think I was talking about focus. I have a journal. It's like a daily planner that I'll go through. And in the past, I never went through the whole thing. I went focusing. Now my goal is to write it at least 5 to 6 times a week, to make sure that I'm going back, that I'm checking off what I do, because you got to be specific. If you just say, I want to write in my planner every day, I could write the date. It would be enough. And that is not what I'm trying to do. Okay. Second is create a roadmap. Break your big goals into actionable steps. This starts by not having a million goals. I am a complete offender of it. I always have 25, 30 goals. This year, I only have 8, which is huge for me. And I had to break them down into actionable, specific ways I was going to get them accomplished, which was hard because I don't like to just check it off. But in the past, I've quit on, goal number 7 out of 30. And so you got to make sure you're creating a roadmap for yourself. Knowing how makes it even more, um, the ambitious goals seem achievable. So, with careers in particular, if you haven't done a career map, it's important. You got to know where you're going, what you want to do, and how you're going to get there, and what you're going to need to get there. So, creating a roadmap is essential. It's essential. It truly is. Also, build accountability. This was a big piece. I had us do some networking. And I'm saying this because next time I want you to come back and I want you to actually participate in it, because you'll always get these snapshots of what it was about. And so the talk is truly for us to talk and engage and get to know each other. So, build accountability. Share your goals with someone who'll hold you to them, and vice versa. Don't just have an accountability partner who they're not accountable to you, and vice versa. Make sure that the wishful thinking that we all do, that it's no longer just that it is progress, that we are doing things to truly just, I don't know, like get it done. You know what I mean? Just completely get it done. So keep that in mind as you are building your accountability partner, or just in general, having accountability as your friend. All right. And then conclusions. All right. So, point one, awareness is power. You want to recognize where you've handed over control. That is the first step. And once you realize that, you can reclaim it, take charge, and move on with confidence. You truly can. Knowing that you're not in control is the first step. That's why it's point one. Because if you don't know that you're in control, then you will live through a career in which you get done with it and you're like, I don't even know what I did. I don't even know what I was doing. What did I stand for? And you don't want that. Point two, action creates results. So big changes come from small intentional steps. Whether you're speaking up or just making some goals, taking some risks, whatever it is, action is what creates results, not dreaming. You gotta get in there. If you're gonna dream, you gotta put it on paper and then make it come true. If not, I said this just this past week. I was like, dreams are guaranteed. If you're not willing to like put them out and really do something with them, they're guaranteed to stay in your head. Point blank, period. And then boldness drives growth. I know it sounds crazy. Boldness is a big deal. You have to commit to it. You have to believe in yourself. You have to take that fear out of it. And you got to make sure that you are truly set on the path that you have put before yourself. And that's why mapping it out is important. All right. Cool beans. That was it. Can you imagine? Like, yeah, we had an hour, but overall, it was a lot of questions and things like that, and we had a lot of fun. I will say we do have some future events coming up. There's 7 of these, so there will be 6 more after this. Then I'll take a short break. Then I'll start back in April. So every quarter, I'll do 7 and then I'll move on, give myself a little break, and then move on. So, future events, Stuck Isn't a Strategy, is next week. Please make sure you join us. The next one is Play Bigger and Stop Settling. And then after that is Take Bold Actions, Get Real Results. Every week, I'll continue to add on to this. Everything I do is on Eventbrite, period. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you are truly, if you're not watching me, watch somebody. You know, just if you really want to grow in your career, you got to take that action. You got to do some things. And this is a cool way to do it. All right. Please connect with us. Make sure you scan this. Hopefully, you can connect with me. This is to my stand store. This gives you complete access to me, my products. I have a lot of free products. I have the career map, which is free. I have the CareerSnobs page, which I just kind of threw out there. You can subscribe to. And what else do I have? Some other things. I can't even think about it. But I have a couple of things that you could totally take advantage of. I also have the Own Your Career course. It's only 99 bucks and you can totally go on there. It really goes through everything you would need to own your career and make it yours. Check it out. And then if you want coaching, there's also an area for you to be able to do that as well. So with that being said, it has been wonderful. I have enjoyed myself. I did Q&A. Can't do that right here. virtual networking. So you all can see this is the exact same one. And then, of course, thank you very much. It's been my pleasure. I can't wait to see you guys next week, gals and gals. Next week, please make sure that you link up with me on LinkedIn, that we're creating this community. I will get this video sent out within the next 48 hours, definitely by Monday. And then that's that. All right, y'all. It has been fun. I say y'all because I am in Savannah, Georgia. My name is Kay Allen Brownlee. I am the owner of Career Snobs, where we want you to own your career and make it yours. And we also want to make career training accessible and affordable for all. It has been my pleasure. I hope you have the most amazing day and that you join us. You connect with us on Eventbrite and you keep up with our events in the coming weeks. Thank you so much. Have a great one.